A reading from Matthew chapter 8, verses 28 to 34. When Jesus came to the other side, to the country of the Gadarenes, two demoniacs coming out of the tombs met him. They were so fierce that no one could pass that way. Suddenly they shouted, "What have you to do with us, Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time?" Now a large herd of swine was feeding at some distance from them. The demons begged him, "If you cast us out, send us into the herd of swine." And he said to them, "Go." So they came out and entered the swine, and suddenly the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the sea and perished in the water. The swineherds ran off, and on going into the town, they told the whole story about what had happened to the demoniacs. Then the whole town came out to meet Jesus, and when they saw him, they begged him to leave their neighborhood. There are many things that are usually part of my life that I continue to miss at the moment. One, which I enjoy very much, is going into Spalding Parish Day School each Wednesday for collective worship. One of the songs we sing quite often is called "Our God is a Great Big God." Do you know it? Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. And he holds us in his hands. He's higher than a skyscraper and deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. He's known me and he's loved me before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Simple words, and they come with great actions. Unfortunately, I'm so out of practice I can't remember the finer points of those actions right now. But I can remember he's higher than a skyscraper and deeper than a submarine and wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. Simple words and actions, but there is a theological meaning encapsulating for me the awesomeness of God. He is wider than the universe, bigger than I can ever imagine, but he loves me and I am part of his amazing plan. Sometimes it's easy to forget his mighty power when I know I can be with him as just me. Power is here in today's reading, and I'm reminded of the bigness of God. The powers of evil are palpable in this story of demon possession, but even the powers that were strong enough to take over the lives of two men knew that Jesus' power was greater than theirs. We hear the demoniacs were so frightening that no one dared go near them, but they do not attack or even begin to threaten Jesus. Suddenly they shouted, "What have you to do with us, Son of God?" They immediately not only recognize Jesus' power, but know exactly who he is, the Son of God. Contrast that with the disciples, who have just said, "What sort of man is this?" when they witnessed Jesus' power to calm the storm on Lake Galilee. To put it in the vernacular, in understanding exactly who Jesus is, the evil powers are saying something like, "Okay, we give up right now. We know who you are, and we know your power over us and all evil. People here fear us so much they won't dare come near, but you are more powerful than we can imagine." I find it salutary that the powers that had enslaved those men, who took away their freedom, powers that were so strong and forceful that a whole herd of pigs were overwhelmed by their evil, and rushed to their deaths. They realized immediately that our God is a great big God. I've been forced to wonder if I truly understand the awesomeness of God, the power of God. In the joy of a personal relationship, do I sometimes miss or not remember, quite literally, the bigger picture? God, the creator of the universe, the one who flung stars into space, as the hymn reminds me. Awesomeness beyond my understanding. And a comfort to me that in his greatness God accepts me by his awesome grace. For our powerful God, our great big God, is so powerful, so big beyond our imagining, that he has room in his heart for each one of us. Power can be harsh, controlling, selfish, and oh so sadly, it can be evil too. But God's power is the power of grace and mercy, the power that chose to come into the world as a vulnerable baby, the power that chose to show us a new way to live, in harmony with him and one another. The power of the Holy Spirit working among us, for us and with us. The power that excites and comforts us, knowing that we can trust his power, as he calls each of us to be a part of his amazing plan.